Hey guys, it's Ben, and today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the daily Bugle Try Hack Me challenge. This is a hard rated challenge on a Linux box, and I've tried to record two previous walkthroughs of this. I've had some issues with connectivity. It seems a bit unreliable. When I was actually doing the challenge, it was fine, but when I came to record it, it was a bit unreliable. But we'll see now. I'm just going to get my terminal setup going, and I just do want to check, right, if I get this here, I can ping it. Yeah, I can ping it, that looks good. So I'm going to start off with some initial nmap scans covering all the ports, and I'm going to output this to nmap initial. I'm already in the nmap directory, I can see, so I'll just output it to initial.txt, and we'll see what this returns. If you look at the description, it says, compromise a Joomla CMS account via SQLI, practice cracking hashes, and escalate your privileges by taking advantage of the YUM. So that's sort of the briefing we're given. The initial nmap scan covering all the ports shows us, look, there's 3 ports. There's SSH, there's HTTP, and there's 3306 for MySQL. So knowing that, we can do a further scan. We can specify the ports we want to scan and only scan those, and we'll do a more thorough scan. So I'm going to use TAC SV for version service enumeration, TAC SC for default scripts, TAC O for operating system enumeration, TAC N because I don't want DNS resolution, and we'll go to the, not this, but faro.txt. I'll output that, and I need to be sudo, so there we go. And I didn't even specify the host. There we go. Okay. What we initially discovered is, look, there was a HTTP service, so there's possibly a web server running. We can visit the HTTP service, and we can see, look, there's this daily Bugle website that looks like sort of a blog, and then there's a Spider-Man robs bank. If you look at the first flag, it says access to the web server, who robbed the bank, and it's this Spider-Man. So we can do our usual enumeration. We can look on Wapalizer and see there's a Joomla CMS, which is sort of creating this web page. The operating system behind this is CentOS. It's using an Apache web server, and it's using PHP. It doesn't reveal the version of the Joomla CMS here, so perhaps we can do some more enumeration to find that. There could be some inherent vulnerabilities in this CMS. So let's just search up Joomla version disclosure, see if we can find an article, or perhaps Joomla enumeration. And we can see there are a few ways we can perhaps leak the version. So there's this administrator manifest files Joomla, there's this language engb, and this one specifies the whole version there. We can try this, right? While I'm doing this, just before I do that, I'm going to go down into here, and I'm going to move this up a bit. I'm going to cd into the recon directory, and I'm going to do a web scan to actually get these, that's not what I wanted to do, to get these web technologies written down somewhere. I need to get the IP again, 10.2.249, and if I go here, can I get it? 249.253. I'm going to tee this into whatweb.log, so we have this written down. I'll let that do its thing. Over here, I'm going to get a vi notes.txt, and I'm going to start writing down some stuff. So we know that there's Joomla. We want to find the version. How can we find this? Well, we looked online and we found there was this possible endpoint which leads to version detection. We can see if this endpoint exists, and it does, and it leaks the version 3.70. So we can say version 3.70 from, that's not what I want to do, from languages, languages engb gb.xml. So we've got the version. We can now, knowing this, search for exploits. We can see is there any publicly accessible exploits for this version. So search exploit Joomla 3.7.0. There's this one here, SQL injection, which specifies, look, there's the com fields which is involved. So I'm gonna move into exploits directory. I'm going to cd into exploits directory. I don't know why I used the move there. And I'm going to download this to my box. I've got it saved. And I'm going to cat this out and see, look, what is this exploit? It's just a txt, and it's saying, look, we can use SQL map. If you look at the actual challenge, right, obtain user gain root, it asks for the Joomla version, and it says instead of SQL map, why not use a Python script? So I would take this advice and not use SQL map. So let's just search up Joomla 3.7 and see if we find any vulnerabilities. There's this article here on GitHub, and there's this script called Joomla.py. We can have a look at it here. Also, just a note, if you want to read up a bit more about the vulnerability, there's this nice article here, and it sort of explains how it works. I'm not going to be explaining this article. I'm just going to be taking this script. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go raw just so we can grab this. That is not what I wanted to do. There we go. I've got that grabbed. I'm going to download this onto the box, this Joomla script, and we can give it a go, right? If you read actually at the script itself, you can see what it is sort of doing. So we have to supply like a URL in this format. It will tell us in the thingy, and it's a blind SQL injection. We can sort of see actually how it's doing. It can extract sessions, it can extract the users, and it can extract the tables. And it looks like we may have to specify a port. So let's just give it a go. Right, let's make this executable Joomla, right? And then if I just go like this, we can see we have to specify the URL, and then following the URL, we can specify the website we're attacking. So this is 10.10.249.253. I think we have to specify the port, and then we'll run this. And we've got unrecognized arguments. Is it because it's that? Do I have to go equal like this? Nope. I did have troubles with this when I was originally doing it, like getting the right syntax, as it doesn't really specify how to do it correctly. Let me just VI Joomla. I noticed at the bottom it asks, there's this here. I wonder if I have to change this to our endpoint. I doubt it, but we'll give it a go. 10.10.249.253. I think I did this on my 180. Right, quit. Maybe it's not. Unrecognized arguments. Is it like this? URL. Do I just have to go like this? Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I forgot, but we got there anyway. And it found this user, this Jonah user, and we've got a hash here. So I'll just copy the hash here. From SQLi, we've got this Jonah user, and his password hash is this. if you don't know what this password hash is, you could try, first of all, go down here, right, there's a tool built into Kali called hash identifier, so you can use that, and it doesn't find it. Okay, so that will just identify the algorithm used to hash the password. You can also go to hash analyzer. There's a few, I can't remember which one I used, maybe it wasn't this one. It can't find it. What about this one? Let's see which one is the one. Put it in here, and it identifies it to be the Unix one. So that sort of gives us some indication. We can try crack this. So I'm just going to go vi hash.txt, put this in here. If it does run slow, I would recommend doing this in your host machine, but we'll see if it runs, like if I'm able to crack it. If not, like I said, yeah, I'll do it in my host machine. We'll see how it goes. I did, when I did it to begin with, let's see if this is like a known hash, right? Let's see if we can find it. Hash cracker, maybe this is a known hash already, and we're able to just, I'm not sure if John hasn't found it yet, so let's just try and see if by chance this is being solved by somebody else. It's always the easy route, I guess you can say. Crack hashes. Unknown recognized hash format. Did I copy that correctly? Just want to double check. If I go over here, go like this. Joomla HTTP. .249.253. Yep, that does look right. If not, I will have to get my host one out. I will try again, just look around, because I remember when I first did this, I didn't actually use John or anything. It found it online. But we'll try find some tools. Hash cracker. Try this one here. Maybe it was this. 7ZKY5 7ZK, is it Y5? Let's try this. And look, it did find it. So this was the website I used. It found it to be Spiderman123. So, good timing. John also cracked it, Spiderman123. So we found the password to the Joomla credentials, right? This is we don't know where to use it yet. Another bit of enumeration you can do is go to robots.txt, and we can see there's an administrator page, so we can log into here. Administrator, like so. And our username was Jonah, our password was Spiderman123. I think I've got that copied. Jonah Spiderman123. And did I get the username wrong? Jonah. That is right, isn't it? Spiderman. It may be Jonah at TryHackney. That is how you spell it. Jonah. Spiderman123. There we go, we're in. So we're in this control panel, and we've got this initial access into the CMS. I want to find a way we can perhaps edit a web page to include some PHP code. we can include a reverse shell in the PHP code, and then we can actually get remote access onto the computer. We can have a look around. You can see there's this templates, and you can sort of try find a web page you can actually edit, and this is what I did. I'm trying to remember where I found it now. Was it extensions, modules? No, extensions, plugins perhaps? No, extensions, templates. Okay, I think this is where it was. So I found this like index.php, and there's this template preview feature. So what I can do is actually paste some PHP code in here. What I will do is open up this, and then in my exploits directory, I'm going to copy from my useful fast center box my PHP reverse shell, put it in the current directory. So now I've got the PHP reverse shell. I'm just going to open this in here. Cancel. And I'm going to change this to be my IP, which is 10.18.98.238. And the port I'm going to be using is, I'm fine with 123. I'm going to copy all of this, and I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to save this. I'm also going to get a netcat listener up, so I'm going to get some space. Clear nc nvlp 1234. Get a listener on port 1234 to listen for any incoming connections. And I'm going to template preview. It sort of loads. If you go back here, we've got an initial cell. We're running as the Apache user. So what can we do from here? First of all, we can find the Python. If it has Python involved, if it has Python downloaded, it does. So there's a good chance you'll be able to use Python taxi import pty, pty.spawn bin bash, like so, just to get a better shell. Also, if you do clear, you can see you can't clear, so I'm going to export term equals x term. Now I'll be able to clear, and I've got a bit of a better shell. So maybe I'll be able to get the user flag. You go into the user, you see there's this J. Jameson user, so we can try cd into this, right? J. Jameson, that's permission denied. So we're sort of stuck at this moment. We don't know what J. Jameson's password is. Perhaps it's Spiderman123, so pardon me. I'm just going to try use that. We've already got a password. Perhaps it's reused somewhere. Spiderman123. And we see that doesn't work, so that's obviously not the password. Where else could possible passwords be stored, right? Or we may need to exploit something. So let's just cover everything. If we do sudo tac L to try see what sudo privileges Apache can run as, we get a password. We don't know the password for the Apache user. We can always try actually Spiderman123. It doesn't work, so that sort of finishes that attempt. We can also check, is there any SUID binaries? So type f perm equals u equals s. So I'm basically trying to get a full coverage. I could have just skipped to how I actually privilege escalate, but I want to show you what I walked through when I did this. We can see, is there any SUID binaries? This one here interested me. I didn't often see this one, this chargay one. Also this usernetctl and crontab, that also interested me. There was a few there which I hadn't really seen that often, and I investigated them, and I encourage you to do that too, just to get full coverage. That isn't actually what I used. So if you remember back, there was this on port. Do we have netstat? No. Do we have lsof? No. There was port on our initial scan. I'll just zoom this down a bit so we can see. On our mmap scan, there was port 3306, right? 3306 on MySQL server. So perhaps our web server, our website is connecting to this server, this database, and that's how it deals with the authentication. It pulls the password hashes and compares it to that through that database. So it would be worth looking in the var HTML, looking at the web files to see, is there any credentials for this database, or are there any credentials altogether? You can see that there's htaccess cat htaccess.txt, and you can look around and there are no credentials in here. There's nothing interesting. There's also this configuration, so cat configuration.php, and we've got quite a few more things. It looks like perhaps there's these SMT pass, which is empty. There's also this Jonah mail from. There's also a secret here, so there's this secret. I don't know what this is for, so I'll copy this. Right, this could come in use a bit later. I'll copy this over here. Secret, and there is also a password. So there's a password and a secret. This could be password for the database. We don't know for sure. Just to try, we could see, look, can we use these passwords to privilege escalate to Jameson? So we'll try that first. And surprisingly, that does work. We have found some credentials for J. Jameson. He must have perhaps reused this password, which is used on the web server as well, and we now have access. So we've privilege escalated from this web server user to this actual user with a home folder, J. Jameson. We can cd into home, cd into J. Jameson now, and cut out the user.txt. So we're halfway there. We just need the root flag. We need to privilege escalate to root. You can do the same thing. Look at his pseudo privileges, and we can see he can run the command yum without a password. The binary yum as sudo without a password. So perhaps this is a known privilege escalation vector. Perhaps there's a GTFO bins for it. We can search up yum, and we can see that there's a sudo GTFO bins. Looking in here, there's two possible ways you could exploit this. One has this fpn module, this fpm command, so we can check if this one's possible. Is fpn on this box? It's not on this box, so we most likely won't be able to use that one. We can have a look at this other one. So it loads a custom plugin into yum, and it looks like it's a Python plugin. This plugin basically just spawns a shell. As we can run yum as root, we should be able to do this. So first of all, it starts off by making a temporary directory. Where is my shell? There we go. So we can paste that command in there, and then we can just paste the rest in and let it do its magic. I'm not going to do the rest. I'll get to this point here where we actually run the sudo command. Let's close that down. Let's paste this in here. Press enter. So we've made this temporary directory, and we can call this package and see if this works now. So we'll do this. Run, and it sort of looks like it's okay. That isn't what I was expecting. Am I copying it all? Yep. Just want to check, right? ID. I am okay. It did work. I just had an error there. I am root now, so that works. I privilege escalated to root. I can cd into root, and I can cut out the root.txt flag. So that is this challenge done. It was a fairly quick one. It was apparently hard rated, but I thought it was fairly straightforward, so I hope you've enjoyed.